All right, you guys, welcome to Thursday. This is a big, giant room, so it's going to be a little hollow sounding. I apologize. But I want to say to you, like, the light and dark that has been showing up in this trip for me in Portugal. We're going to Spain tomorrow to do more pieces of the Camino. We've walked probably about 20 miles so far. And, we're not doing the whole thing, just pieces of it. But I have to say to you that, first of all, the weather, the light, the sun here is illuminating so many things in terms of just the beauty of nature. It's just glorious. This room is so light. When I was in the other hotel, there was this sense of the hermit's cave, and now coming out of that into the light. The night here is darker than any night I've ever seen before, and the stars are brighter, so there's probably less light pollution going on here in Portugal where I am. And I just want to say, I'm really struck by the light and the dark of things. So I'm just going to take that and like put a pin in that a little bit. And, there's stark contrast here, but there's also a sense that the light and the dark is very compatible. Just like the yin and yang energy that you see with that circle with the two shapes in it, with the white and the black. There's something here about a coming together. There's a feeling of energy that may look different, right? Because light and darkness can look different to you. Things can look different in the dark than they look in the light. And so, but I am just feeling like this kind of compatibility that even though these are dark nights, there's such a softness to them. Maybe the air is very soft, I feel, and the days are very mellow and warm and sort of, I used to describe it as kind of round. It's almost just a feeling of being hugged. So I may ascribe this to Portugal, or I may ascribe this to the time of year, or both, or whatever it is. But the Camino itself is a very demonstrably shifting experience. And the first night we were here, each one of us talked about our word for the trip. And my word for the trip was wisdom. And I wanted to, taking in other people's stories as we're walking the Camino and just hearing about other people's lives and what's going on with them and what's not going on with them. And I just heard some of the most amazing aha moments. Oh, and we've only done this for a couple of days, but some people having like these aha moments, and I'm like, this is it, baby. If you ever have the chance to walk the Camino de Santiago, I heartily recommend it. So let's keep going. Discovering truth. You stand in the light of truth. Wise leader. You are a beacon for others. Every single one of us is a beacon for others. Miracles. Wow. Okay, my goodness. And finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. So this is a little bit about what I was just talking about finding leadership in everybody's story, seeing miracles. Expect the wondrous to emerge. When you expect something to be awful, it's going to be awful. When you expect something to be magical, you're going to find and see the magic in it. When you expect people to be terrible, they'll be terrible. When you expect people to rise to the occasion, there definitely does come a sense of, oh, I'm so disappointed they didn't do this. I'm so disappointed they didn't rise to the occasion. But there's something magical about that too, because it's almost like you're seeing what the way that you want things to go. It's like giving you a little bit of information about what you expect of yourself, but also what you expect of the world. And you're going to have those kinds of experiences if you open yourself up to the wondrous nature of people. If you are loving and expecting love, yeah, there's going to be some people who may rebuff that. But if you're not really reliant on their opinion or reliant on how people respond to you, that shouldn't be changing your day at all. Okay? If you're sitting there going, yeah, but this person was really terrible, and yeah, this experience was horrible, and it's like the worst, darkest place in my life, and yes, okay, no one is denigrating your experience or pushing back on you that says you should always be happy and sunshiny. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying to you is to find the light inside the darkness. Find, in the night when I'm walking back here from dinner or whatever, like the darkness just is this wrapping up. I just feel this, and the light from the stars is so incredible. A very different experience than the day. So even if you're in a dark place, you can find your own light. And that's where you start. Okay? And other people are going to do what they're going to do. It really has nothing to do with you. Most of the time people aren't thinking about you. They're not, if someone is setting out to hurt you or harm you or whatever, just get away from them. Why are you around them? All right. So let's see where we're going with this reading. Ace of Wands, illuminating. Oh, I love it. Seven of Wands, Four of Wands, Five of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles. This does make me feel like what I just said to you about why are you around this person? Why are you dealing with people? And some of you may be like, well, they're my family, or this is a person that I'm married to, or this is a person that has been in my life for a long time. But if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So some of you are right now on the verge of making some changes. Okay? And I see it here with this Seven of Wands and this Five of Swords. I'm almost seeing you as the guy with the swords here and those other people walking away dejectedly because you've put up some kind of boundary. Brava. Okay? And you have done something that brings you joy. You have done something that moves you forward, that helps you light your light, helps you become a wise leader for other people. If you are hanging around a lot of negative people, get away. Find a way to get away. Oh, it's my job. Find a new job. Oh, this is my oldest friend from school. So what? If you spend that time and that energy, it's not going to serve you. You already know who I'm talking about. You've identified them. If you're thinking about them right now, you've already identified them. So let's start to move away. Let's start to make some commitments to ourselves that if you're going to be a wise leader, which you are on this planet, if you are going to be a beacon for others, first of all, going to have to step into it. And we are on the path toward doing that. And second of all, you're going to have to start seeing and making, not provision for, but making boundaries where boundaries are necessary. And I feel like a lot of you in this watching this reading, we've talked quite a bit about boundaries and making good boundaries. And yeah, it's wonky and uncomfortable when you first do it. You're even going to make some mistakes. You're going to, make it too loud, or you're going to be like, oh, too flustered by it or something like that. But after a while, you're going to get used to it. You're going to get better at it. And especially if you have understood the truth that's coming through about you stepping into being a wise leader. And when you step into that, miracles and sanctuary and opening further to your spiritual source starts flowing in. You're not going to be kind of stuck in these things anymore. Because when you're opening to your spiritual source and you're saying, yeah, that's the direction I'm going in, new opportunities open up for you. Pay attention. They have a saying on the Camino is, watch for the signs of the Camino. So when you're walking on the Camino, this happened yesterday, an apple fell out of a tree with the leaves on it. And I heard these two people talking behind me, talking about how we forget about fruit trees and how they need the bees. And we've talked about the bees for a long time. But there was something in the conversation that made me feel like there was a little bit of a awareness, like a for the other person about that stuff. And this person was just talking about an apple with a leaf on it. Like, we don't ever see the leaves. We just see the apples in the store or whatever it was. And I was like, it's such an innocuous conversation. But that other person, there was a few things that they said that I was like, wow, that was a little bit of a miracle. They were saying some things about how they wanted to eat a little bit healthier, or do some better things for themselves, or be out in nature more. And gee, I really miss this. My aunt Hilda's farm, and we used to go there when I was a kid. And I was like, I bet you haven't talked about Aunt Hilda in 20 years. It was nice. And who knows what the epiphany was that came from that. But when you watch for the signs of the Camino, we saw a woman who was lost. And, on the Camino, there's like these yellow arrows, and that's how the pilgrims follow the path. You have maps and all kinds of other stuff. But essentially, there's these little yellow arrows. Watch for the little yellow arrows in your own life. Watch for the signs of the Camino. Watch for the signs that show up for you. And especially some of us have been in the presence of other people kind of dim our light and dull our light and dull our ability to be present in the moment because we're so freaking caught up in dealing with their nonsense that we're not present. We've got to defend ourselves. We've got to make sure we're saying the right thing so we don't set them off. We got to walk on eggshells, blah, 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 blah. That's a lot of energy going to somebody who doesn't give a shit. Okay? They're going to do what they're going to do. And you're like accommodating them. No, no. Wow. Tower. Ten of Cups. Nine of Cups. Sudden satisfaction, sudden joy, miracles, finding that place suddenly. Five of Wands. This is about getting rid of people on your path who are clogging up your ability to perceive those yellow arrows. The Strength card, the Two of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, King of Pentacles. So I do feel like if you are caught up in dealing with other people right now, this is kind of about stepping into your own power. Wise leader, step into your own power. Don't let other people dim your light. Don't let other people's darkness that isn't warm and that isn't inviting. Don't let that be part of your experience. Even if you have people around you who are nasty and mean or dark or whatever they are, and you can't really get away from them right now, your job is to set down that boundary. Your job is to learn to have a boundary until you can get away from them, until you can move off. Oh, I got this job and these coworkers are awful. Okay, set a boundary. Don't eat lunch with them, for God's sake. Don't spend time with them. Minimal, okay? We're not trying to appease them. We're not trying to win them over. Just say what you got to say, do the interact for the work or whatever's going on, and then work on moving away. Energetically, just like stop trying to make it okay. These people around you are never going to do it. So some of you are going to make some decisions very soon. There's opportunities coming up. Once you open up to this way of living, there's opportunities coming up for learning. Messages are coming in. There's financial support coming in, abundance coming in. There can be a person coming in. Whatever it is, I think you're going to call it a miracle. And that's no joke. So let's keep going with this reading. There's a link below if you want to continue on. This is Thursday. Today in the astrology group, I will be talking about 2025 and what's going to be happening. I will be sending a video along to talk about the astrological movements in 2025 so you can follow them and give you some sense of the way forward. Okay? So if you want to continue with this reading, there's a link below. If you're part of Pathfinders, let's just keep going.